Okay, so for this video, we're going to look at some hip mobility for jiu-jitsu. A big part of jiu-jitsu is being able to move your hips in different positions. So this little drill, I'd recommend you practice it daily, sort of 20 or 30 repetitions just to get into the movement and open up those hips in preparation for jiu-jitsu. So what T's going to do, our glamorous model, is starting from this position, he's going to form a position where he's got 90-degree angle at his hips and 90-degree angle at his knees. And then from this position, he's going to slowly transition his hips round and match the other side. So as he opens those hips up, he's going to try and land in a 90-degree position. T, if you just want to turn a little bit to touch the camera there. Good. And so from that position, the key detail is trying to keep the movement consistent throughout the movement, so no sort of fast and slow segments. And so as T comes round and he opens his legs there, he's going to try and keep them open, and as he does that, it'll be much more easy to land in that 90-degree position. The first phase of this is just practicing it with your hands down. When you're feeling familiar with that movement, then we start trying to progress with your hands in front of you. You won't get this on the first go, so it's something to build up to. And so from here, as T starts to come up and round, he's going to try and open both those hips and then bring that right knee down. This will just help you create a little bit of space into your hips. So what I'd say is do about 20 to 30 repetitions of this and do a long, slow out breath as you transition through the movement. Okay, so for this second exercise, we're going to look at getting some more hip mobility into the front of the hip. So what T's going to do is if he just goes up into a push-up position. Okay, and so from that position, he's going to try and step his right foot just on the outside of his right hand. If you can't get to your hand, that's fine. It's something to work up towards. He's then going to use his right arm and come across to his left hand. And then he's going to try and open up his back by following his hand with his eyes. So as he comes all the way up and reaches up to the roof. And you should just feel a stretch through the front of your hip as you do that. And come back down. And then go just past that fist as you come through. And then all the way back up again. So for this exercise, I'd be aiming to do about 8 to 10 repetitions. And you'll find as you do it, your back will loosen up a little bit as well. It's about combining those back movements with those hip movements, which is a big part of jiu-jitsu anyway. So like I said, I'd sort of do 2 to 3 sets of 8 to 10 repetitions. Okay, so for this third exercise, what we're going to look at is some hip mobility and glute mobility. So more of a bias into that glute. So what T's going to do is he's going to step forward and bring his left leg forward and get 90 degrees at his knee. And he's going to just sit down onto that left hip. Now in that position, he's going to bring his left arm towards his foot and his left shoulder to the floor. And you should just feel a bit of a stretch into your glute there. These aren't sort of long-term stretches. I just go into the range, come back out, and then work your way back in. And so if you're starting to feel comfortable with that stretch into the glute, we'll then progress it into a deeper stretch into the glute. So I'll take over from here, T. So in this position, we're just going to change it ever so slightly. So you come up to 90 degrees, and instead of sitting onto your hip, what you're going to do is come forward onto your knee. And then once you've come onto your knee, you're just going to bring that hand through and sink onto that hip. Come back out, and then sit back down. And so, as with most of the exercises, it's not about a long sustained stretch. I'd be going into the exercise sort of 8 to 10 times just in and out.